work takes him around the world, and he has transformed several lives with his unique practices. He's an award-winning singer and songwriter with over 30 years of experience in the field of experimental learning. In the 90s, Charlie served as the National Director of Training for the YMCA Earth Service Corps, a youth environmental organization. In 1996, he co-founded Power of Hope and served as co-director for many years. In 2005, he received an Ashoka Fellowship in recognition of his lifelong achievements as a change maker and for his work with the Power of Hope program. Charlie, we are really looking forward to what you have in store for us. A round of applause for Charlie, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that warm introduction. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So, welcome to this morning's workshop, Building Inspired Leaders Through Creativity. And I just want to say, first of all, that I'm just so delighted to be back here working with soil. My first time in Delhi was last June when I came here to lead a workshop with the soil faculty and staff and some of their corporate partners, and also some teachers from the local high school. And so that was my introduction to this community. And it really feels like a community here at this school. And so I'm very delighted to be here. And this is actually my fourth time in India. I work with an organization in Bangalore. The organization I founded, PI, Partners for Youth Empowerment. We partner with organizations all over the world, and we help them, we work together to increase their effectiveness in engaging young people. And our strategy for doing that, partly, is by engaging the creative capacity of the adults who work with young people. So I feel like the luckiest man in the world because I get to travel around the world and build communities of people in India, in Brazil, in East Africa, South Africa, the UK, the United States. And I get to work with creative, inspired, caring people who are passionate about giving back. So I just wanted to give thanks for whatever I did right that puts me in this position that I get to do this kind of work. So this morning's workshop, or today's workshop, will be very active. Probably the most talking you'll hear from me is at the beginning, just to kind of set the context of what we're doing. So it's an experiential workshop, and we're going to begin by creating an experience together. So I'd like to invite everyone to stand up and come into the center and just kind of form a circle around me. We're going to be, this workshop will be a creative journey. We're going to go through a set of experiences together from now until 5 o'clock. And our job really as a group is to form a group that can support each other in expressing ourselves and exploring our creativity, okay? So we're going to build a group rhythm. We're going to build a whole rhythm as a group, okay? And before we do this, I want to assure you that everything that we're going to do in this workshop, there's a reason behind it. There's a purpose. It's actually tied into a framework, a set of ideas, okay? And that'll become clear as we go along. So we're going to begin by building a group rhythm. And the way we begin is just walking together in time. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and perfect. Now you just have to watch me. We're going to build a complex rhythm. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 3, 4, and great. That's the beginning. Excellent. And 3, 4, and Both legs. Got that? You're getting it. 4 and 3, 4 and 3, 4 and 3, 4 and yeah. 3 and okay, clap for yourself. That's pretty good. We're going to do one step further with that. So let me just show you the rhythm again. You don't have to do it. And I just want to make sure everybody can see okay? Okay, good. So it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and da 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 da. So everybody go da 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 da. Ready? That's good. So there's a reason behind this. The scientists tell us that this is called cross-lateral motion. And when we do cross-lateral motion in rhythm, we activate the right and left hemispheres of the brain. Our brains are connected to our bodies. Okay? Creativity takes courage, and what matters is just getting out there and trying it. This workshop is just about getting out there and trying things, okay? So thank you again. What I'm going to do now is just share the goals of the workshop, and we're going to build some agreements for the day, and then we're going to jump into some activities, okay? Working with another creative form, we're going to be working with language and words. We're going to be playing with words. And all through this, we'll be experiencing and learning some activities that you might be able to just use in some of the groups that you work with, okay? And then I'm going to share some ideas with you, something called the 8 Habits of the Creative Mind. It's a sort of mental framework you can take away with you from the workshop. And then we're doing a closing activity, playing with visual art. So that's all I want to say. I don't want to go into too much detail because I just kind of want to encourage you to be in the present moment and not thinking too much about what's coming next. But that's the general flow of the day, okay? So these are the goals of the workshop. The first goal is to discover some ways to bring out your own creativity. Discover ways to bring out your own creativity. So just in that statement, there's some underlying assumptions. And the first and most important underlying assumption is that we're all creative. And the reason this is so important for me to just state that we are all creative, that's our belief, is because I know in the United States, for example, you say that to a group of people, and some people say, well, I'm not creative. I'm not one of those creative people. The creative people are that dancer over there, or that musician, or that famous author, or that playwright, right? Or that actor on the stage. We're into totally overturning that notion. I believe that creativity is a force that each human being is born with. And it doesn't just have to do with whether or not you're good in an art form. Creativity is an approach to life. It's the ability to think new thoughts. And now what we want to do is just what I call seal the deal, okay? So I'd like everybody to stand up. 1, 2, 3. Yes! Wow. You're not kidding. That is great. That's excellent. Okay, good. So here's what we want to do next. We are a very large group. And normally when we do these trainings, we go around the whole group and we ask people to introduce themselves. But because we're so large, we're not going to do it exactly like that today. And but I'd like to begin with just learning each other's names. How many of you have been to a conference or a workshop where, you know, maybe halfway into it you're thinking, why am I not feeling connected? Have you ever been to a workshop and yeah, we've all had that experience. Here's a very simple thing to keep in mind when you're working with any group, and we often forget it. Help people learn each other's names. Learning, being able to call each other by our names is a first step in building community. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to ask you to circle up as quickly as you can and mix it up. If you came with a group of people, mix it up with new people. Form circles of 8 in the room. Okay? And I'm going to ask our helpers to spread yourselves out into these groups. So that would be, like, for me it would be, hi, my name is Charlie.
You love reading.
Okay, great. You got it? Okay. So why don't you go ahead and do that, and then we'll go on from there. Is everyone clear?
I'm passionate about singing and dancing.
I'm Farina. I'm from Lienz. I'm from Lienz. Farina. So where are you from? Oh, I work at Soil. I lead the marketing and admission. So, what do you like? Do you want to probably enact it? Why don't you enact it? Singing. I'm Farina. I want to introduce myself. I want to be with the baby. Oh, sorry.
Now, how do I enact stocks? My name is Sudesh
Yoga. Meditation.
I am a yoga trainer. Meditation. I'm an art of living teacher.
So, I'm going to give you a new set of instructions, a new game, and this is a game that's going to require something of you. And we're going to jump into a deeper part of the pool on this little game, okay? And in order to do this, we have to make a decision. Now, you guys are familiar with American slang. You know the word cool, right? You know, if you're cool, you know what that means? If you're cool, you're really hip, okay? And so we say that everybody has in their back pocket, it's the size of a credit card, and it's their cool card. It's the card that we carry around to make sure that everybody thinks we're cool, all right? What's the problem with a cool card? It has its downside. Does anybody know?
It doesn't get swiped.
Huh?
It doesn't get swiped.
It doesn't get swiped, yes.
It may not be authentic.
Yeah, it's very difficult to be authentic when you always have your cool card. And also, cool cards keep us in a very narrow path, okay? So it's very difficult to sort of think outside the box when you're worried about being cool. So here's what you have to do. Now, let's see. Neha, and who else has done, you've done this activity. Great, so we're gonna demonstrate. So we're gonna be standing in a circle like you all are, and I'll go first. And here, why don't you stand here? And this is called walk into the circle. And so you have a circle of people around you, and I'm going to ask you to do your special walk into the circle. Okay? So I might do something like this. So I walk to the center, and I say, hi, my name is Charlie. And then I do my walk back out. And then the other people in the group mirror my walk. They do my walk in. So they copy me while I stand on the outside. So you have to watch what the person's doing. And the group comes to the center, The group comes into the center and they look at the person and they say, in this case, "Hi, Charlie."
Hi, Charlie.
And then they add this final phrase. They point at them and they say, "You're special." Okay? So, "Hi, Charlie, you're special." This is pretty uncool, don't you think? Good. So let's try that again, okay? So why don't you do a walk-in and we'll demonstrate. Great! And no, you stay in the center, and then you say your name.
Hi, I'm Parul.
And then you walk back out with your special walk. Okay, here we go. Hi, Parul, you're special. And then we do her walk back out. Is everybody clear? Okay, form a nice round circle. Get as much space for your circle as possible.
Hi, I'm Krishnan.
And then you just go right around. There you go. Okay, great. So, I just want to take a few comments right now. What was that like? Anybody?
Opening up.
Opening up. I'm sorry?
That was real fun.
What was fun about it?
No inhibitions.
People were doing it with very positive energy without any apprehensions. And
Oh,
like they were doing it among strangers, so it was great.
Great.
It helps you open up.
I'm sorry?
It helps you open up with the strangers completely.
Perfect.
And they were ice-breaking.
It's like an icebreaker. Absolutely.
There was a lot of innovations.
Like lowering
You saw a lot of innovation.
Lot of creativity.
Great.
it's like lowering your guards.
Yeah.
You have your personal guards.
Yeah. So it's like lowering your guards, he says.
Yeah, I'm normally very shy and formal, but I saw myself having fun.
So this was not typical for you.
Not right.
Congratulations, that's fantastic.
You need to be appreciated for no good reason.
Well, let's think about that. For no good reason. You took a creative risk, right? That's a good reason, don't you think? So, I mean, think about the comments you're hearing from people. You know, I mean, you started out by saying, tell me again what you said.
It was real fun because we were doing it among strangers and we had no apprehension.
We were doing it among strangers and we had no apprehension. What I believe is that one of the jobs of a creative, inspired leader when you're working with groups is to do everything you know how to do to create a sense of safety. And I maintain that people tend to feel safe when they can do silly things with strangers without apprehension. Okay? So that's excellent. I really appreciate these comments. Great. Okay, so we're going to, if we had more time, this is a very condensed workshop, so this is an introductory workshop. If we had more time, I might spend a little bit more time on learning names, because I think it's that important. So we are going to move on, but I want to encourage you to get to know people and to begin by asking people their names. Okay? In this next activity, we'll have an opportunity to do that. So this next activity is something we call a milling activity. Milling, and milling means we're just going to be wandering around the room. Okay? Now it sounds a little strange, but there's a purpose to it. And so I'm just going to guide you through a few steps, and eventually you'll be just talking with each other one-on-one. But here's how it begins. I'd like you to start wandering around the room and looking down at the floor. So not looking at each other. Just start walking around, and if you notice a space, fill it. So that we're just moving in a random pattern, everyone. So just keep going. Start walking. Walk around the room and just listen to the sound of my voice. So this is totally nonverbal at this point. So it's not, you want to avoid bumping into people. Just walk you can walk slowly, more slow than we're doing right now. Just slow it down a little bit, slower pace. And as you're walking, you're looking at the carpet. And if you see an empty space in the carpet, you're moving towards that. And I want you to just think about how you're feeling right now, how you're feeling today. And now I want you to raise your head and just start noticing who else you're in the room with, okay? Without speaking yet, I want you to just notice who else is here. Keep walking, just walk around, and you might say hello with your eyes. You might notice yourself smiling at someone, okay? So just greet who's in the room, notice who's in the room from that place of your own personal presence, okay? Great. So now, what I'm going to ask you to do is to start looking around and find somebody you have not talked to, somebody that you don't know. And I'm going to ask you to link up with that person back to back. I'm going to ask you to demonstrate. So we just stand back to back, and you link arms like this. Find somebody you don't know and link up back to back. Okay? Someone you don't know. Great. The way this is going to go from now on is that I'm going to ask a series of questions. Okay? And every time there's a new question, there's going to be a new partner. So you're going to have one question per person, okay? And when you turn, after I give you the question, I want you to turn and face your partner and share your name, okay? And then I want you to respond to the question, okay? So the first question is, what is something that you love or really enjoy about your life right now? What's something about your life right now that you love or that you're very grateful for? Okay? Your name, something you love about your life. Go. Now, when you turn, I want you to share your name, and I want you to answer the question, what is a time in your life, when you felt powerful and creative? And share what that was. What was happening? A time in your life when you felt powerful and creative. Okay. So this is a double question. Who needs a partner? Okay, great. You and I can talk. If that's all right with you.
Yeah, sure.
Great, good. So here's the question. It's a double question. I want you to share your name, a challenge you've overcome in your life, any challenge, a challenge you've overcome in your life, and something people might be surprised to know about you. They couldn't tell by looking at you, but something someone might be surprised to know about you. Okay? Great. Good.
Challenge I think I overcome is during my first project when I joined. The first project was an R&D project. So I met teams and talked about awesome days.
Smile and warmth when they're talking, so I think that kind of speaks to that.
And also, so they're letting their
body
warmth
language is very open and
so the openness in the body language. We communicate so much through our bodies.
Curiosity to know more and rather speak more at times.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
tell more.
Tell more.
Trust. A lot of trust.
So what are people saying or doing, or what are ways that people are being that's helping you feel that trust?
With the eyes.
They're not
Being
feeling
there with
inhibited
the person.
and they're kind of.
So they're communicating in an uninhibited way. And you mentioned
Being there with the person through the eye.
making eye contact. Yeah.
So-
all of these things. Yes.
There's a lot of positive interaction happening. Like we are seeing positive sides of things.
Okay. So really important point. You're focusing on
Positive side.
meaningful and positive things. Yes.
People are just dropping their guard and opening up to the other person.
Yeah, so
Makes
strange.
them feel special.
And how can you tell people are dropping their guard?
Because they're sharing their personal secrets with me.
Okay, so the level of sharing is meaningful. So people are are choosing to communicate about something.
Very authentic.
Yeah, authentic. That's the word.
And they're dropping
Yeah.
their guard basically,
Yeah.
They're dropping that facade and they're just coming out.
Yeah. And how does that feel?
Very special. You feel very, you feel special that the other person chooses to share this information with you.
Exactly.
Respect to each other's feelings. Respect to each other's feelings.
So people are showing respect. And how can you tell people are respecting?
Listening signals.
Listening? Good.
Listening and appreciating each other.
So the level of listening, great. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to get...
It's not judgmental. When you know I'm going to say something to this person, they're not going to judge me in any way.
Yeah.
So that's the
So
feeling of not being judged.
How do you know? I believe that's true. And how do you know? What are the signals you're getting that say that this person is not judging me? They're open to who I am.
It's eagerness.
Okay.
Despite saying something, like I was telling her about this experience that nobody would even believe about.
Yeah.
But she had no sort of strange expression.
Yeah.
So it's
The first thing you said was eagerness.
Yes.
Okay, I want to pick up on that because, one second, what I love is you all have so much to say. You have so much important things to say. That's fantastic. But my question was, how can you tell people aren't judging you? And I'm sorry, your name?
Pramila.
Pramila said, their eagerness, okay? And you know what I think is sometimes, for whatever reason, in the environments that we work in, there's a level of, sometimes it's fear of like, if I'm really myself, what will people think? And what happens when there's that thin veil of fear is that it's almost like we keep our energy down a little bit. But when you said eagerness, I felt like eagerness is a way of people extending their energy. You know, through their facial expression, through their eye contact, through how they're using their body, through the warmth, they're sharing energy, okay? And so I think that's really what we're trying to get to in our workplaces, on our teams. How can we kind of create those environments where we can all go, you know, I can breathe here. I don't have to put up any front. I can show my eagerness, my sincerity, and I won't be judged. That's the goal. Does anybody else have any reflection they want to say before we have one last question? Yes, sir.
It's like taking out a frog from the pool and putting him into sea, so that he can be more curious to know about the new things, new world.
Wow, so putting them in the sea. Wow, so it's like in a much more open space. Yeah, brilliant. Well, I love that metaphor. So you're already thinking in metaphors. I like that very much.
It's all about expanding the muscles, expanding the eyes, the smile on the face, which helps in the reception.
Yeah. So really realizing that, you know, our face is full of ability to express and muscles, and sometimes we hold so much tension in our face. So it's another double question. Okay. So somebody was let's you and I talk. Great. That's all right with you. Great. So this double question: who is a leader that you admire, and why? And when I say leader, it could be, you know, a leader of any type. It could be a leader within your family. It could be a leader that many people know. Whatever you define as leader, okay? Who is a leader you admire and why? Okay, let's take a short break. Get some water, use the bathroom. But can we make this break short?
Yeah.
We can do it?
Yeah.
Okay.